What's going on, everybody? It is Craig Bennett, a.k.a. Cash Kager with DFSArmy, and I'm here with my good buddy Aaron Freeman to talk a little college football. Week 0, 3-game slate on our hands. How you doing, Aaron?
Good. It's so great it's back. Getting tired of baseball, especially our Cubbies.
I understand, man. The Cubbies, I saw a picture yesterday. I think it was in our Discord, and someone was at the Cubs game, the first one bringing their son, and it was empty. When did you see the bleacher seats that empty in a Cubs game ever? I mean,
Yeah.
Pathetic, but you sell everybody. I mean, good for it. I hope that no one goes to them stinking games, man. I'm so pissed off at the Ricketts and what they've done to that organization, just selling everybody. At least keep one and build around it. I mean, why?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, we could go on a whole show over that, so let's not jump too much in the Cubs. But yeah, man, week 0, I remember we did a little bit of MAC action last year, and we didn't really have a football season, so it kind of sucked. But I'm super stoked, man, to have football back in our lives, and it's it feels like it snuck up on us a little bit, man. I mean, it's we're a few days away. We're 4 days away for some college football.
Yeah, it's especially with last year being so fragmented and all the starts and stops and canceled games. It should be much more fun and consistent this year.
It should be. Hopefully we don't have any big issues or anything, but I don't think we will. There's just too much money in college football, and I'm sure they all missed out on that. And the big thing is, man, all these players getting their money, man. With their which is kind of cool to see. But it should be fun, man. I got my Fighting Illini first game of the season, which is awesome, and on the slate. So we'll just dive in here, and we'll pull up the DraftKings slate here, and we'll just kind of talk through position by position, kind of how we see things. And basically, how we feel about things are going, that first game is Nebraska at Illinois. We saw that thing open up Nebraska at -11, and it's down to -7 now for Nebraska. The line has moved a lot. Big thing for me is Lovie Smith is no longer at the helm, and it's freaking awesome. Finally got rid of him out of the state. Had to endure him as a Bears fan, as a coach, and then a Fighting Illini fan. It's please leave. Just go somewhere else. So what do you think about the new coaching staff, and how you think it'll play into how the Fighting Illini will run their program?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good hire, actually. I feel like at first I was like, should they have reached for Jim Leonard or someone like that? But I feel like Bielema, he's from the state, and he's obviously had success in the league. So I think it is a good hire, and it's not like he's gonna jump in 5 years. And I mean, if he were to jump anyway, it means the program was doing a lot better. Right. So
I don't think there's anywhere to go but up, honestly, from where we're at. And watching Lovey just he's not a good coach. I'm sorry. He just is not. If he's going to coach anything in defense, but it's not like our defense was extremely amazing or anything. So, I'm pretty excited to see him. It's going to take him some time to get there, but their philosophy should change. They should actually have a plan of where they're going to go now instead of just kind of drowning in the water. So, but I guess we could start, with the quarterback position. We got other 2 slates on the board. We got Fresno State at UConn. Fresno State, massive, 4 touchdown favorites, -27.5. And then we got the late game, but it's weird seeing Hawaii at 3:30 p.m. and not, midnight.
Yeah.
And so it's a Hawaii at UCLA. UCLA is favored by 18. That line jumped a bunch too. And that's the highest over under at 68. And we all know Hawaii and the way that they run their offense. It's pretty fast paced. So, quarterback, man, what are we going to do here? Where do you think we should sit? Again, we'll have DraftKings up. We can talk about FanDuel pricing as well. It's everything should be pretty similar. But where do you think we're going to do at quarterback here if you're going to pick a quarterback for the slate?
So, in terms of ownership, I think Dorian Thompson-Robinson's going to be the pretty heavy chalk on this slate, just with the total, and he's by far the most known commodity out of Well, I mean, people know Martinez too, but
Yeah,
DTR, people see the points per game, and it's I think people are expecting a somewhat of a shootout, even though the line's grown a bit. Um, I it's a pretty good matchup for him, and so I think he's going to be very popular. Um,
oh yeah, on DraftKings at
even
8,500. On
yeah,
FanDuel, he's priced up to 12K. I mean, he is up there on FanDuel.
I mean, I'll probably have him around 70%, and um, I'll use Martinez a lot too. There's definitely many pathways Martinez could outscore DTR. Um, you know, Martinez has been, ask any Nebraska fan,
Yeah,
Martinez has
man.
been very, very frustrating.
He
So
has been.
DTR has a high floor. And then um I like Jake Hainer a lot too. I'm really happy what they did with the pricing and making it, I feel, less obvious um with him being 9,700 on DraftKings, um pricing him ahead of DTR. So DTR and Jake Hainer are my two favorites. Um and then I think Cordero and then Martinez. I'm gonna focus around those four. Um, those are the four I want the most of. Um, Brandon Peters, I feel like I'd rather get in a. If you're thinking Brandon Peters, you should just think about putting in a skill player there and trying to
Yeah, I don't see any reason
take
to go
down a
Peters.
GPP or something with
I,
a
I
skill
think
player there.
I think we're going to start going run heavy, and I'd much rather go the line eye running backs than Peters because
Yeah,
Martinez, you get the dual threat. Yes, we've been if you played college football in the past, we've been burned by Martinez a ton, but on a 3-game slate, and you want dual threat quarterbacks like this, and um, yeah, it's on the road to Illinois, but I still feel like at his price point is probably where I want to land. Um,
yeah,
DTR for sure, 8,500. I have no problem with that. My only issue with going up to Hainer at 9,700 is it's just a price point for me. It's like, and
yeah,
also, being 4 touchdown favorites, I would rather go the running back. And, if they get up, there's no reason for them to throw the ball. Not saying that they can't score a ton. It's college football. They can hang a ton of points up with a board and a half. And if I'm running 100, 150 lineups, I wouldn't just completely negate him. But if I'm building a few lineups, just price wise, he's 9,700 on DraftKings. Over on FanDuel, he's 11K. He's a little bit cheaper than DTR. I just, probably wouldn't go there. Like you talk about Cordero a little bit, they're going to be playing catch up against, UCLA, and we think it's going
yeah.
to be highest over under. If you ever seen Hawaii play, man, they're just spread them 5 wide and go. So he's going to toss the ball a ton. So I think he would be the third guy for me if I was going to play. Um, you know, play these
I
guys.
like the difference. I like the difference with Hainer and um like making it a tough, people don't want to pay that much, but I
Sure.
like he'll come in
Yeah, I don't mind.
20%.
Right. Yeah. It'll definitely negate his ownership because if he's so expensive. Um, just it's just if I was playing one lineup, he probably wouldn't be in it.
Yeah.
Not saying that I'm not going to have him for sure, but it's like I'm not going to have any Peters at all. I'm just not.
Oh
Like
yeah, no.
I'm just not going to have any of him. I'm basically just those 4 quarterbacks. Hainer, DTR, Martinez, and Cordero, and probably Martinez, DTR, Cordero, and then Hainer for me. And that's just price considerate. But
Yeah.
on these slates, you gotta realize you got to run. Generally, you're running always 2 quarterbacks. A quarterback in your super flex. These smaller slates, a 3-gamer, you might be able to get away from it if you can find a skill position that can get you, they got to get you at least 30 fantasy points, don't you say?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I'd rather run Turner, the running back, than Peters. Turner, I believe, 64.
yeah, let's run over to running back real quick and talk about them. Yeah, no, it's if you're running anything from Illinois, for me, it's Chase Brown. He's the top of the depth chart.
Yeah.
He's going to get all the, he should get all the carries. Not saying that they can't run, a few of these other guys out there, but it's hard pressed for me not to want to run some Chase Brown out there at his price point. He's $5K. And if you're going to play a line guy, that's the guy to me that you're going to play. And I think they're going to play more physical this year. I just think that with him coming in and they're going to want to establish that run and dominance on the line. And I think that starts with Brown and that offensive line.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite plays on both sites. Phil Steele has him as a second team all conference running back, and that just the Bielema old school Wisconsin style.
Right. And that's what they did.
A veteran offensive line too.
And I think that's what you got to understand is, coming from Wisconsin, it's just that's what they do, run the ball. I mean, big time runners we saw out of there, just massive. And it's not like he's going to change his philosophy. He's going to bring that in, and
yeah,
it should be a good thing. So who else we like at running back besides Chase Brown?
So I like Turner's kind of like a mini Marshall Faulk, very good receiver. They use him a lot as a receiver, so he's not like a traditional like Derrick Henry style running back. He's they'll put him in different formations. And so especially if you're not gonna have Cordero, Turner gives you a lot of exposure to the Hawaii passing game, and I think it's he has a good game script going.
Right.
So I like Turner.
Would you consider him more
second favorite?
DraftKings and FanDuel. FanDuel he's 9.2. I don't really like that price point as much as I do on DraftKings where he's 6.4.
Yeah. Especially with the PPR.
The PPR, because that's the one thing I think people have to consider. They should be playing from behind. He should be getting a lot of those dump off screens, and those will add up. And so I'm with you there. I do like that price point too at 6,400. We talked a little bit, about Haener from Fresno State. What do you think about Ronnie Rivers here? He's the most expensive running back at 7,800 on DraftKings, 10.5 on FanDuel. Is that something that you're considering in your builds, or is he just a little bit too expensive?
I'm worried about, so the next week Fresno plays at Oregon, and that's going to be really physical.
Right.
And they have Jordan Mims. It's been Rivers and Mims for like 4 years. Mims at 4,700. I think he could get a lot of work too. Like, how much are they gonna exert him?
And especially if they get up 3-4 touchdowns early,
yeah.
And like you're saying, if they got to go play a physical game, this makes for a fantastic, tournament play. When you get a guy at 4,700 that could come in, you got to remember some of these games when they get up like this, they have no problem throwing their second string running back out there, or they run 1-2 punch anyways. But a guy that's cheaper like that, why not? He's gonna have less ownership.
Brown's very interesting for UCLA. Charbonnet transferred in from Michigan, but it seems like he's the clear backup. So I do like Brown a good amount. And then Nebraska's a few interesting pieces, but they're still I would be careful there because they're
they had so many transfers in, man, and like
Yeah.
Martinez is going to tuck that ball, and I'm not a big fan of playing
Yeah.
running backs when you got a dual threat quarterback as much. You know what I mean? Like I get
Yeah.
it, but I'm with you. It's like I want to see a game what they're going to do when it comes to the running back situation. I mean, they had what Step came over from.
Step.
Yeah,
Steps
he
from
transferred
UCLA.
UCLA,
Or
right?
no, sorry, USC.
Yeah, USC. That's right, USC. And then he's the top of the depth chart, and um, I want to see what they're going to do. Like I wouldn't play
Yeah.
any Nebraska running backs at all. And I'm with you. I think Brown is the guy at price point wise. 5,600 on DraftKings, and he's going to be probably pretty popular at that price point. 8,600 on FanDuel. Like that's where you're going to land. But I think for me, it's like, after the running backs that we've talked about, I do like the Mims call because I think he's going to be low owned. I don't think a lot of people will be on him. But it's like, to me, what do you do with Rivers at that price point? Like if you throw him in there, it leaves you 5,100 left for your 3 wide receiver points. If we end up throwing, Brown in there, we got almost 6K for wide receivers. I mean, it's really easy to get there. So, yeah, I mean, I think those are probably going to be your 3 favorite backs, I would assume. Maybe not Turner as much. I don't know how many people will be on Turner, but I can assure you that both Browns are going to be pretty high owned at their price points. But hey, before we continue, head on over to DFSArmy. Use that promo code CashCake. Save yourself 10%. Aaron has already got his sheets up. He's going to be mainly focusing on FanDuel this year, but also he'll do both. And then Zadelstein's going to be taking care of DraftKings cheat sheets, man. And we'll have projections up for all the slates as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun, man. I'm looking forward to a massive, profitable college football season. I think it's definitely one of our favorite and I would say most profitable things that we have over there. It's a blast. But let's dive right into wide receivers, man. Tell me what you like in wide receivers.
Yeah, and one more note too is I feel like we do a good job of trying to make it accessible. Like, the names aren't it. I feel like everyone knows NFL names, but college players come and go and transfer. Right. But one great thing about DFSArmy is we do the legwork and make the players more accessible and figuring out who's worth rostering and not rostering. So yeah, definitely recommend joining us and seeing what we're all about. But on to receiver. Receiver's the most interesting position because Fresno State is loaded at receiver. I want to say they have their top 8 guys back, including Rivers and Mims.
It makes it so difficult to figure out.
But
and are they going to?
Cropper was the lead guy last year because in 2019, Pope had gotten hurt.
Right.
Pope led the season in 2019, then got hurt most of 2020, then had 2 big games at the end, so he's kind of priced up.
But yeah, Cropper had all that target share with him kind of banged up.
Yeah.
I mean, he had all of it and all the targets, but do you think it could be spread out a little bit more this year with Pope coming, and healthy? And it's Cropper's priced up, 7,300 on DraftKings. Over on FanDuel, he's 9,400. But when you look at Pope, he's 6,900 on FanDuel, and he was 6,700 on DraftKings. I think it's a fantastic price for him on FanDuel. They're 6,900. But if that is that, you think that target share is going to spread out a little bit more, and being 4 touchdown favorites, who do you, Wheat Falls? How do you rank them? Price consideration.
So I actually like the value plays a little more for Fresno.
Okay.
So if you go down to I think he's at 4,400, Kelly yeah, Josh Kelly.
Yep.
He's one of the starters this year. Um, I like his price point a lot. The UCLA guys I like a lot too. It's much more concentrated with Dulcich, the tight end, and Phillips, who's been kind of a possession guy.
Right.
Um, so and then a lot of wild cards, but players I do like on Illinois and Nebraska. Um,
They're all
yeah,
cheap.
ne Nebraska's lost two number one receivers in back-to-back years, and Spielman and
I just
yeah, this game's super interesting at receiver. So Nebraska lost Spielman after 2019, and then Wandale Robinson
yep.
to Kentucky um, after 2020. And so I think this guy Torrey, he transferred in from Wyoming. He's going to be I think he's going to end up being their best receiver
My
at
issue
4,900.
my issue though with on
Yeah,
both sides of this ball when it comes to Nebraska and Illinois is just the volume. Like,
yeah,
we could see it wouldn't surprise me at all to see less than 20 pass attempts from either side of this ball. Because I can see, Martinez running the ball 10 times, you know what I mean? And like it just worries me. They're all price considerate, and like you said, I think it makes it interesting in tournaments, but I have a hard time deciding exactly where I want to go when it comes to wide receivers here. I think I don't know, man. Torrey's probably my favorite if I was going to say it on Nebraska, but
yeah.
it's
The prices are tough.
yeah, it's like just with the volume they're going to be super efficient, and I much would rather go to teams like, yes, I know Hawaii throws the ball a ton. They spread things out and they throw it a ton, and UCLA, but if it's going to be a shootout, um, I mean, God, I love seeing Smart and Coda and these guys. It just from last year. Um,
Yeah.
I would rather take chances on some of these guys, man. I mean, the upside of like a Jared Smart is massive. You talk, you're saying Phillips is more a possession receiver. He's 7K. I think we can get there if we don't spend all the way up at running back.
Yeah.
So price considered, who's like your favorite play? We'll just throw out your favorite play at wide receiver. We're not going to build it all the way out, but your favorite wide receiver play on DraftKings if you had to pick one to build around.
Probably still there's two there. So this is gonna be people may not like this, but I do like Ross for UConn a lot. I mean, there's like nothing. It's like Ross and a bunch of schlubs.
I mean, they're going
So
to be
I
from
mean
behind, like,
yeah.
and he's going to get all the target
So
share. So I get it. I mean,
Ross and
what do you
Kelly are
average? Like 8
two,
targets last year or 9 targets? Which
yeah, he had 60 catches as a true freshman.
so
Um
I mean,
Ross and Kelly are my two favorite value receivers.
Ross and Kelly. So there you go.
But
Yes.
yeah, you don't even need to go that low with this build.
No. And I think now generally you stack up one of your quarterbacks with a wide receiver, but I would say with a Martinez, you don't necessarily have to do that. I would
Yeah.
I would have a rule where if I'm setting rules up, I would set a rule like where I don't have to stack him with anybody. You can, of course, but I don't think you have to. There's certain quarterbacks that are not dual threat that you want to have a wide receiver with them. And I think that's important to know, and we'll point that out within Discord and let people know who needs to be stacked and who doesn't necessarily need to be stacked. Because we'll get on these main slates like week 1, man. We'll see it where injuries happen and we'll get a dual threat quarterback at like sub 5K, and it's like you don't need to stack him with anybody. You can find expensive wide receiver that just gets massive share, and it's like I'd rather have him than stack dual threat quarterback with him. So I think that's just something we should let people know who haven't played college football at all.
Yeah.
So any bets before you end the show, man? Is there any bets you like on this Saturday card at all that you're kind of leaning towards one way or the other?
I do like Illinois to cover the +7.
I do too.
Especially given it's such an important game for both teams. So I expect it really close, and Illinois has a lot of experience coming back. I do think I liked UCLA better at like when it was around 14 or 15. Yeah, Illinois is my favorite bet though. The +7.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that opened at close to 9.5. So, it's then moving in that direction anyways. And I'm with you. I think it's home game, super important. I think that's the way I would like to lean as well. I don't really have a lean on the UCLA game. Definitely not Fresno, UConn. I guess UCLA. That's a big number for them to cover. So I don't really. Yeah. I think I'm just going to lay Illinois, and that's about it for me. That's about it. So with that, man, anything else you guys say to the people?
No, just come join us, and we have a bunch of promos. We have like free month promos, so check us out.
Definitely, man. Well, with that, appreciate you coming on. Fun to talk a little college football. Hopefully we'll see you next week, and we'll talk a little week 1 where you have a massive slate. But man, get in there, play some college football. Hopefully see you in our Discord and chop it up, and hopefully help you win some money. So with that, I'll see you on the flip side. Deuces.